There we go. All these things to click, but by gosh, I'm in. I'm in. I've unmuted. Yay! How you doing, Ed?
Not so well, but I can give a report on Dave's and my work on the telecommunications section of the zoning law. I don't know if that's on the agenda. And then there's two other things I wrote. One, a resolution by the board to ask for a health study of the impact and effects of 5G radiation on,
Cool.
and then two, if it appears that Verizon is really going to try to build a tower in Bearsville, then the town board, I wrote also a potential moratorium language for calling a halt to tower applications until the town should have an opportunity to update its zoning law regarding these new small wireless facilities.
Right. Now that's excellent. We talked about that a little bit before, and I was a bit tardy as I have been in what's the matter? Yes. Yeah, Tom's talking to me. Just a sec. What's up? If he's well, yeah, my boyfriend Tom wants to say hi.
Hi.
And I just want to tell you that back in my senior year,
I can't hear you, Tom.
back in my junior year, well, here I am halfway here. Back in my junior year, which was 1968 or 1969, I played your album, The Fugs, in my art class.
Mm-hmm.
And about halfway through, the art teacher came over and zipped that friggin' thing off, and that was the end of that.
Did he tear it up?
What's that?
Did he break it?
No, she did not.
Because I used to get letters from fans who said my mother and father broke up my Fugs record. And so I got a few letters like that. So.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed it. It was the one with Group Rope on it, and
yeah,
it was
the second album. Yeah.
Yeah.
66. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it changed my life. That album changed my life.
Well,
and thank you so much.
All right, I'm glad to have a minor impact on your life.
You did. Yeah. No, well, we kind of have, but we met kind of with Laura at one point. I think at some point.
Yes,
yeah,
I remember meeting.
We're sometimes at the same place, all three of us here. So, yeah, cool. Well, anyways,
and it's so good meeting you, and I'm so happy to tell that story to you because.
Well, thank you. I'm grateful for the story.
Oh, okay. So we seem to have a meeting, a group of. I reached Connor to say, hey, we're having this meeting, and I reached David Menzies to say we're having this meeting. Nobody said they weren't coming. People are definitely not prompt. But anyway, Ed, you're prompt. So why don't you go ahead and give me the update? So we can't consider the meeting convened until we have 4 of us, but you can certainly go ahead and give me the update. Looks like Dave is joining. So you can give me the update. And I don't think we're going to have Michael. And Jeff Collins was in New York City, so he thought he might not be home in time to join us. I have hopes that Connor will join, though.
We have a problem in that my sister passed away this afternoon.
Oh, Ed! Oh my God!
And she got from Corona. And she was living in Idaho. And
you say it was not from Corona?
It was from Corona.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awful.
An attendant, she's older, she's pretty old. And, anyway, we were close. But anyway, I'd be happy to talk. I just can't do a long meeting. I'd be happy to talk with you or David on our work on the zoning, on the telecommunications sections of the zoning law.
Well, I did get the, and hi David, welcome. I mean, I did document, and I apologize for being tardy as I have been at getting the meeting materials out, but I did document and I did send it, but we can do, you know, I don't want to, looks like we have Connor joining. So we'll officially convene. You can give your status. I can bring up the minutes that I documented from last time, and you can tell me what's new since then. Might be the quickest way to go about it. So, and Connor, we see you, but we don't hear you. I see you have looks like you're muted. But I'm gonna count us convening at 6. Well, I'll call it 6:35. Okay. So anyway, Connor, we don't. I see you're there, and I see you're not muted, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to bring up the minutes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. I can hear you now.
Hear this?
I hear that. I hear something.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time connecting, so I'll try and get my video going soon. But if I'm muted, it's fine. I'm here. I just don't want to, you know.
Well, I have to say, yeah, and you're very faint. So if you talk and it sounds like we don't hear you, it's probably because we didn't hear you. So you may have to kind of yell. So anyway, so I will put the minutes up from before. So the notes that I had from before, Ed, was that for telecommunications, you recommended Town of Woodstock issue a moratorium on construction of small cell towers that could be used for 5G until we can finish our analysis of what wireless protections Woodstock needs and have our zoning law updated to address small wireless facilities. And I had a note, and this was from 2 weeks ago, that between one or both of you would be drafting a moratorium resolution. I have a note about the large cell tower language, that you're going to keep it as is, but add new zoning law section to address the changes for small cell towers. You had mentioned about 44 pages of zoning law changes so far, complicated issue. And you had mentioned you're writing a preamble to explain why large cell tower and small cell tower parts of the law are needed. And then that you were going to, when you had it ready to review, you would give it to the zoning revision committee for review, and you're recommending an attorney. So regarding telecommunications, those are the notes that I had put together from before. And then I had aquifer and scenic overlay. But why don't you just, as quickly as you would like, and if you want to say no change to make it even quicker, you can do that, because are we good meeting again in 2 weeks? We had said before we were okay meeting on Columbus Day. 2 weeks from today is Columbus Day. And if you just want to wait, Ed, and go into more detail, then that's 100% fine.
I don't care. I'm ready to meet, but I don't remember recommending that we would recommend an attorney.
Well, I'm sure you did recommend an attorney, and I did since then talk to Bill McKenna about a recommendation for an attorney, and he thought that the Association of Towns could help us. So he thought that if we take this to the Association of Towns, that they may be able to help us with language. So that's my bit of update as far as an attorney.
That's fine with me. I don't think we should immediately jump to hire this guy Campanelli.
That's fine.
For a couple of things he said during the July meeting, but he may be good, but the town needs to discuss thoroughly, the board, what the way Dave and I have designed this change is to save the town money. We left the large tower section more or less like it is.
Yep.
And we've added what are called small wireless facilities language. Mm-hmm. And we've been discussing the issue with small wireless facilities is the incredible number of antennae that are required for 5G. So Dave and I have been discussing what we should do, how we should regulate the proliferation of antennae in historic districts along Route 212, on Mill Hill Road, all around different uh, residential neighborhoods of Woodstock, how we can regulate it
Mhm.
so that it won't have 10,000 or 2,000 or 1,000 antennae on buildings and light poles and all over the place. So we're discussing, based on our research, how we can control the number of antennae for small, for 5G.
Right. Now, one thing that Connor had said, I know from meetings I've been in Woodstock, some people have said you need the minutes to fit one page and two at most. So I condensed down what people said. But when I was going through my notes from 2 weeks ago, Connor had made a recommendation that maybe we do, I think he got the idea from Europe, that what they do is they'll allow all these antennas, but when you get to Woodstock, within Woodstock, make sure it's some kind of either a fiber optic or a copper. But that was an idea that Connor had shared 2 weeks ago, was you might be having all these antenna coming into Woodstock, but when you get to Woodstock or even a mile out, that then you switch over to some kind of a wired solution. So I don't know if that'll help you. But what
Very,
I did,
it's a,
but what,
look, I'm in favor of a wired, the only wired system now is Spectrum, the former Time Warner.
right,
That's the only wired system for the town. And
right.
the
So that's
question of, do you demand that much of the wire be buried, or do you have it tacked up on poles? Do you have it tacked
right,
up on poles? Do you have to make a deal with Central Hudson or New York Telephone to attach?
right,
I mean, I'm in favor of wired, like in Italy, the last mile. They call it the last mile rule, where
right,
the last mile are fiber optic cable, and it
right,
makes 5G less environmentally a problem to human health.
right,
But it's
right.
expensive. Connor would know that you can't. You work well. You work for MarkerTech, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the MarkerTech could price what it would cost to build for downtown Woodstock or for the uh, downtown zoning districts, what it would cost to hardwire uh,
I'm not sure
telecommunications line.
offhand. Again, it depends on a lot of things. I mean, right now, though, I know we have, trunk cables running right up to town because when I forget, it was sometime last week, I want to say maybe Wednesday, we had a big internet outage, and it turned out to be from a broken fiber cable.
Right.
Definitely, like, I mean, that knocked me off of my job all day.
Yeah,
And
us too.
so, keeping them buried is definitely I think a prerogative worth, keeping.
Yeah, we lost you there, Connor. All of a sudden, we're getting static and not hearing you.
Interesting. See, sorry, I'm having some connection issues.
Yeah, I heard you that time.
But basically, what I'm saying is that we should, if we're going to pursue having fiber optic, it should definitely be buried.
So again, that's
Run through the sewer or something. I know there are high, hazardous tactical cables you can use to put them in direct burial or any kind of environment you could probably imagine.
but even so, that in my mind is a lot more expensive than hanging them off of poles. I mean, I realize that burying them, there have been proposals by even previous supervisors to bury everything, all the light and telephone, all the cables, bury them like some places in Europe or New York City, bury them underground. But it would, I know from living through the construction of the sewer in 1984 and 85 that it's very expensive to bury things in a place where there's so much bedrock, so many cliffs, so much bluestone right under this top, this right underneath the ground.
Yeah.
So
And when you bury, you have to be able to get it back out again, right? So you can bury the cable, but if every house needs the cable, you got to figure out how to get it from the underground thing up to this house and that house and the next house. So it's a little tricky, I think.
well,
I think polls would have to become introduced at some point, probably on maybe a house-to-house basis. But I know there are plenty of integrators who are, really good at that sort of thing and figuring out what that would take. Now, I mean, if we have to put it on polls, that's fine to start. But I mean, having it as a goal is, again, the kind of thing where I think we're going to see more people going remote, not less. And being able to stabilize, I guess, the work environment as it would definitely be attractive, to say the least.
Right.
well, I think what has to happen is a group of people has to form an action committee to request this and to do research and to figure out how it actually could be done. It's one thing to say we want to do it. It's another thing to figure out actually how we can do it. The basic steps and also the funding of it and what entities would be involved in funding it and how would it be funded. I mean, but
to be honest, I think over at Marker Tech, there is a rep who handles the town of Woodstock, I think, as an account.
yeah.
And the town, for whatever it's worth, Laura, the town can give them a call and they'll usually talk you through it. I mean, again, sorry if that's,
Well, we could bring him before our committee. It's a he or she. We could bring this person in to talk about.
I'm not sure. I can't tell you whether or not, that would be the case, but I don't know. I think what I'm saying is this person could, if not advise you on what something like that would start to look like, they can put you in touch with someone who would.
Mm-hmm.
Would this be one person in particular, Connor, or you're saying there are a lot of people at Marker Tech that could, or you have one person specifically an expert in telecommunications who you would recommend we talk with?
Well, you should probably talk to Ray Martin. I think he's one of the government sales guys over there. So I can't tell you, one way or another what he can or can't do for you. But what I imagine he can do is come up with a list of local integrators and people who do lay this sort of thing, because it's like you said, you can't just bury it. It's you there's a whole thing about it. You have to lay conduit and run it in the conduit and have that protection so that it's also accessible for repairs and other. Can you hear me still? I think I.
Yeah, we got you again. Yes, we didn't. Now we do.
That's strange. I'm not sure why this is happening, but in any event, the short of it is they will be able to connect you with someone who would be able to give you a serious consultation on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think something they'll be able to walk you through outside of the materials talk, but they will definitely know people who work in the industry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're probably hearing the static too.
I'm trying to figure that out. I'll mute in the meantime.
Yeah, and I hear you. I heard you now. Whatever you just did, it was. I know you just muted. Before you muted, I heard you clearly. So.
Yeah, I can. There's still static coming through, but I'll troubleshoot it as I go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Ed, before I forget, you did recommend that we get an attorney, but you never said that other guy. So
I have minor reservations about Campanelli, but he might be the one. He's got a fancy website and he's very confident. Yeah. But is he the one?
Right. Well, I think that
he wouldn't tell us at the July meeting. He wouldn't tell us what towns he worked for he works for 2 towns in New York State. So the Woodstock ought to check with these 2 towns to see how their relationship with this attorney is going.
Right.
So I don't know. He might be the one. He's very confident and he talks very well. But whether he's the one, I think Bill McKenna may have the right ideas to go before the Association of Towns, where you can get, because it's like if the town explores setting up a fiber optic system, you still have all these private enterprise companies like Verizon and there's 2 others, AT&T. You got 3 or 4 wireless community companies that are desperate to do a 5G or 4G update for all over. So if we do a fiber optic system, for whom are we doing it? You know, is it a single operator? Is it Verizon? Is it?
Right.
You know, it's like that because they're very competitive. But David and I will come up, I think by the next meeting, we will be able to present just for the committee alone, not for any outsiders, a statement of how we think the law should go. And then before then, I can send a draft resolution or a moratorium on small wireless work in Woodstock till we update the Woodstock zoning law, and then a separate resolution calling for a health study on the impacts to humans and animals of 5G technology.
Okay. 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 So sounds good. So the other thing that Ed, that you had talked about last time, I don't know if you have anything to say about this time, is the aquifer work that you had mentioned. You've been in touch with Ken Panza, and that after when Ken approved what you had, you would share it, but that you weren't ready yet as of 2 weeks ago. So anything you want to say about aquifer?
The issue is the map of the Aquifer Protection Overlay District, the contours of the map. Is it the old, is it the earlier map, or is it the one we did in 2016, 2017? And I haven't talked with Ken Panzer, but I will very shortly work it out with Ken. He sent me, the Aquifer Protection Group has just issued another report. I got it yesterday. I haven't read it yet. So when I go through that, I will see where we stand.
Well, who's the current aquifer protector? Oh, that's Ken Panza's group.
Yes.
Okay, and they have just issued.
Jerry Washington and others.
Okay. 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 All right. Okay. Sounds good.
I'm going to have to go.
Yeah, Ed, so thank you so much for being here. And is there any? I don't know your religion. We have a prayer chain at church. Would you like me to include your sister on our prayer chain?
Sure, Jacqueline Stoner.
Okay, let me just write that down.
She's an artist, and lived in Idaho with her daughter.
Yeah. And I am so sorry, and I really appreciate you jumping on, even though you had that going on. And gosh, if I could do something to help, I would.
Well, nothing. Time heals this kind of wound, so I just have to deal with it.
Well, know that we care.
Thank you.
Know that we care. All right, I will talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. So Connor, did you? We also had we talked about scenic overlay last time. Did you have anything you wanted to add to what you said last time on scenic overlay?
No, not yet. I have David Lax coming this week. I finally nailed him down. So that's going to help me probably with the money end of things, but also clearing up a few questions I have with the planning board before I move ahead. So I'll certainly keep you posted.
Okay. Okay,
He's going to be essentially coming to my house to take the kind of pictures we'd be asking for.
Oh, cool.
That'll get an idea and maybe a sort of template to work from.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, let's make some pictures. Okay, sounds good. Alrighty. And the other thing is, yeah, in the minutes, I just mentioned that, of course, as a reminder, whatever we do for zoning law, we want to strike through language that's changed and put new language in italics. And anyway, so the other orders of business, I'll go to the minutes here for a sec, because I think we'll be pretty quick from here on out. I had future meeting plans in here for the minutes, which we were gonna, and these are minutes from the before, and we'll do the same set of stuff I think for each meeting till we get these things done, because we had agreed before we're going to focus on these 4 areas of our to-do list, and when we get them under our belt, then we'll move on to other stuff. So anyway, these are the minutes that we had from before, and anyway, would either one of you want to move that we approve the minutes, and anybody want to second that?
I'll approve them.
Okay,
I'll
David.
move to approve.
Yay!
Second.
Yay, Connor. Okay. All right. And then the other thing, the agenda, which we didn't actually start the meeting by going through the agenda, but we did. That's kind of what we did. So we wanted to adopt the agenda, but we'll go through it. We just approved the minutes. We just described the status of the action items of what everybody had. And then, of course, future meeting plans is the same as it says there, and adjourn. So we kind of did everything. But does anybody want to approve the agenda?
Sure, I'll approve the agenda.
Yay!
Second.
There's
Yay!
nobody else here.
What's that, Dave?
Nothing, just a remark.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear your remark.
I said, as no one else did, I've approved them.
Yeah. Okay. I could have too. So okay. Is there anything else that the 3 of us want to talk about? I think just getting status and Ed getting that horrible news about his sister. It's hard to. I appreciate him getting on as he did, but that's certainly a good reason to have a brief meeting. And there's no other topics. I think I didn't have anything else that I wanted to cover. Is there anything else, Connor or David, that either of you wanted to cover in this call?
No, because Ed and I were, talking about 5G there and how we should handle it.
Yep, absolutely. And so our next meeting is actually on the holiday. It's on Columbus Day, but we had said a while back that was okay. Is Columbus Day still okay with you both?
That's all right with me.
And Connor, it's all right with you that we meet Columbus Day?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah, okay. All right. And it may impact Ashley, who is our hostess for the meeting.
Oh,
Ashley, are you okay meeting on Columbus Day? Oh. Ashley, it seems that you've got a frog in your throat. I think I heard you try to talk.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Bill said that I can't run that meeting on the holiday because the town would have to pay me time and a half.
Oh, how do you like that?
He said that if you guys wanted to host it yourselves, you certainly can. I just can't. I can't.
But I can't host it using the town. Can I host it using the town setup, or we'd have to host it from somebody else's Zoom? And actually, if you're answering, I can't hear you. So we would have to host it from somebody else's Zoom?
Correct. Or I could give you the login for the town account and then just change the password afterwards.
Okay. Well, so if you do that, then I can do it. I've hosted Zoom meetings before. So I've that's what we do. I am involved in a church. not that I'm not bringing religion into town business, but I am involved with the church. And when the priest goes away, I am the person that opens up Zoom for the service. I don't run the service. A supply priest runs the service, but I've done that before. So I've had to log into the account and do that. So I would be happy to do that if you're able to send me the information.
Absolutely, I'll send that to you tomorrow.
Okay, send me Zoom login for October 12th. And I didn't hear anybody say they didn't want to do October 12th. So you guys are still good that we meet in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
David says okay. Connor, you okay with that?
He said it was okay.
Oh, can't hear Connor.
Should be fine with that.
Okay. I heard that. Yay. Okay. Good. Anything else anybody wants to talk about on this call? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Hey, go Connor. I'll second that. How's that, Dave? I'll give you a time off here. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you both. Thank you, Ashley. And we're good to go. We'll talk in 2 weeks and see where we are.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night. Have a good day.
Good night,
Yep.
everybody.
Or evening.
Thanks all.
Okay.